Hey guys, it is 8 in the morning and I touched up my roots yesterday, so I got splodges of dye in my face, but that's fine. I was just ruminating in the shower. And I just wanted to have a little talk, a discussion. I was just gonna do this on Instagram, but I want to hear from, more people, so I figured I would make an actual video, and ask YouTube as well. I genuinely feel like manipulation and intent and all that should be included in the conversation of assault. For example, about 2 months ago, I had a friend turn out to not be a friend because he did shit I didn't want, he coerced me, all that. He basically went home and then was like, "You bring out the worst of me," and then blocked me and hasn't spoken to me since. And on one hand, there was a part of me that was like, well, that was assault, but there was another part of me that was like, you didn't fucking fight back, so, you know. And I was basically this man's therapist for 3 fucking years. And as I slowly unraveled his story and figured it out and kind of figured out why he does what he does, you know, it was all like a revelation to him, and now he's in therapy, blah, blah, blah. I recently got in contact with somebody he assaulted 7 years ago. And as she and I have been talking, it has become blatantly clear that none of what I figured out was a revelation. This man has been doing the same things, he has been using the same excuses, he's been manipulating and lying and coercing for almost a decade. So at that point, it's like, okay, you know, looking into laws and stuff like that, every law is explicitly like, if you did something and then you regret it after, it's not assault. But they don't take into account how good so many predators are at lying and setting up the situations. I found this conversation with him that I had actually taken a photo of. Basically, when I got back from Vegas, which is where he did it, we were still friends, but my mind was like, yeah, no, that was fucked up. You need to start, you know, capturing the proof, because this man never said anything unless he was on, like, video chat or in person. But reading that conversation that I'd photographed, it was so clear that he knew exactly what to say. Nothing he said was incriminating. Everything was like a... Anyway, basically, the point is, if I had been the only person, I would have been like, okay, that was fucked up, you piece of shit, go to therapy. But it's, you know, discovering that it was all premeditated, and it was all planned, and for 3 years, it was just like manipulating and building up to this, and he's been doing it for 7 years. It's kind of like, at that point, 100%, it is assault. And then you look at other, you know, this happens quite a lot, where I'm just going to use men and women as an example. You can swap the genders and not all men, but I'm just going to, you know, for example. You know, there's a lot of men, not all, that will date and say things that basically make the person they're dating feel as though, okay, they are looking for long-term, this is something that they're going for. Eventually they reach a point where they're like, okay, yep, I will sleep with this person. That person, woman in this situation, she is consenting to an intimate experience with someone that she has trusted and is getting to know and wants to be with her in the long term, and has essentially made her feel that way emotionally. And then a lot of the times they'll fuck, and then the guy will be like, alright, peace. That's assault. You know? And then, you know, if the woman is like, well, okay, fuck. Now I feel completely used, I feel completely violated, especially when it comes to the things of, you know, you thought you were gonna have some kind of sex, and then he did something that you didn't fucking want, but then the police are like, but you consented to it, now you're just regretting it afterwards. What do you think? Obviously, this would just open a can of worms for a whole bunch of other problems and, you know, false reports and shit, but I genuinely believe that, like, intent and manipulation needs to be a part of the conversation when it comes to consent. Especially, you know, when you look into laws, it's like, okay, what counts as sexual assault? Non-consensual penetration. If you look into the laws in Nevada, in Vegas, it is only assault if there was penetration. Otherwise, you have to file under, grossness and lewd behavior, but that's basically if you whipped out your dick in public. Like, so you have to either be flat out assaulted, and then there's no other middle ground. I'm fine, as fucked up as it was, and it did make my PTSD go through the roof. And that's another thing. Obviously, anyone watching this that's kind of been through some fucked up emotional manipulation, that leaves you with PTSD as well. You know? It's not just the physical assault that fucks people up. It's the emotional assault. And like so many people consent to things that they didn't actually want. They just did it for the person that they were interested in, and they were like, this might go somewhere. And then if that person was actually a predator, chances are they did shit that you didn't really want, left you feeling kind of skeezy. You're like, you know, maybe this could be okay if they, like, apologize, and then they're like, alright, peace, and you're like, oh, okay. Feel like I was assaulted, but I can't call it that. People are fucked up. Anyway, what are your thoughts on this matter? So that's the conversation I want to have. I think that manipulation and long-term, even short-term, lying to get what you want needs to be a part of the conversation when it comes to consent. Because some people consent to things and then find out that it was not at all what they thought it was. Does that make sense? So, someone consenting to sleep with someone because they're dating and it's going somewhere and they feel safe and that's what it's going to be, that's what they consented to. If that person then has sex with them and is if that person then has sex with them and is like, all right, cool, that's all I wanted, you're an idiot for believing my lies. They didn't consent to that. And I'm not saying that's what happened to me, but like just an example, there's a lot of people who have been through this. So for anyone that has experienced this, what do you think? Obviously there's more extreme cases. You know, for some it's like, yeah, that happened, but it wasn't so bad. And for some it's like, yeah, no, I felt completely manipulated and lied to and assaulted, and it's been following me, and I can't describe why, because people tell me it's not assault. You know? Ugh. Anyway, I'm running out of battery, so that's perfect timing. Let me know. What do you guys think? For 3 years, he knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing.